April 17, 1943. Midnight in the North Atlantic, 500 miles west of Ireland. The U-175 slices through the ink-black waves like a shadow, her diesel engines humming low under the command of Captain Lieutenant Heinrich Bruns. Salt spray lashes the conning tower as lookouts scan the horizon, their eyes piercing the fog for the telltale silhouettes of an Allied convoy. The air inside the boat is thick stale sweat, machine oil, and the faint tang of battery acid. You can almost feel the claustrophobia pressing in, the crew packed like sardines in a steel coffin, hearts pounding with the thrill of the hunt. Bruns leans over the periscope, his breath steady as he whispers orders to the torpedo room. Flood tubes 1 and 3. Target the lead freighter. She's fat with ammunition for Churchill's boys. The men move with practiced silence, the wolf pack's code etched into their bones. This is the happy time, as they call it back in Lorient, the era when U-boats ruled the seas. Dinnitz's gray wolves tearing into the lifeline between America and Britain. Since the war's start, they've sent over 3,000 ships to the bottom, choking the Allies' supply lines. Bruns himself has claimed 12 kills, his Knight's Cross glinting in the dim red light of the control room. The convoy appears like ghosts in the night. X-233, a ragged line of Liberty ships and tankers, escorted by a handful of destroyers that seem laughably outmatched. The U-boat glides closer, submerged now, electric motors whispering. Loss. Bruns snaps. Torpedoes streak out, their wakes invisible in the darkness. Seconds stretch into eternity, then boom. The lead ship erupts in a fireball, lighting the ocean like daylight. Screams carry over the water, faint and desperate. The crew cheers quietly, fists pumping in the confined space. Another victory for the Reich, another step towards starving England into submission. But this isn't just about tonnage sunk, it's personal. For men like Otto Kretschmer, the ace of aces with over 40 ships to his name, it's a game of cat and mouse where the Germans hold all the cards. Kretschmer's U-99 had prowled these waters like a phantom, surfacing at night to recharge batteries and strike with impunity. One torpedo, one ship. He boasted, his tactics refined to deadly precision. The Allies, their blind fumbling in the dark, their primitive sonar pinging harmlessly off the U-boats' hulls. ASDIC. They call it a British gadget that bounces sound waves, but it's unreliable, easily fooled by thermal layers or decoys. The wolf packs coordinate via Enigma encrypted radio, converging on convoys like predators on a herd. Picture it, dozens of U-boats spread across the Atlantic, relaying positions to BDU headquarters in Berlin. Admiral Karl Dönitz, the Lion himself, orchestrates from afar, his strategy turning the ocean into a graveyard. By early 1943, losses are catastrophic, over 100 Allied ships a month, crews freezing in lifeboats or swallowed by the waves. The U-boat men live on the edge, enduring depth-charge barrages that rattle teeth and burst eardrums, but they emerge victorious, heroes of the fatherland. Medals, promotions, and the adulation of home await. Bruns allows himself a grim smile as U-175 slips away from the chaos, diving deep to evade the circling destroyers. Yet, whispers of change ripple through the fleet. Rumors from captured comrades speak of new Allied tricks, better radar, more aircraft. But who believes it? The U-boats are invincible, the war at sea theirs to win, or so they think, as the convoy burns behind them. A faint ping echoes through the whole distant, insignificant. Just another false alarm, but what if it's not? April 17, 1943, to 14 hours, depth 60 meters. The U-175 hangs motionless in the black water, engines cut, the only sound the drip of condensation from a valve and the ragged breathing of 48 men. Captain Lieutenant Bruns stands rigid at the sound station, headphones clamped to his ears. The hydrophone operator, Oberbootsman Klaus Muller, twists the wheel slowly, chasing the ghost signal. Contact bearing 270. Faint screw noise. Fast, Muller mutters. Bruns waves him quiet. It's nothing, a straggler from the convoy, maybe a whale. The destroyers are miles away, chasing shadows. Then the ping returns sharper, rhythmic, like a metronome from hell. Ping, ping, ping. Not the lazy sweep of the old British Aztec. This is faster, tighter. It's hunting. Alarm, Bruns hisses. The klaxon stays silent. No need to wake the dead. The crew snaps into crash dive stations. Valve spinning, planes biting. The boat tilts nose down, pressure hull groaning as she drops past 100 meters. The ping follows. Destroyer. Type B may be American. Mueller reports. Voice cracking. Range closing. 2,000 meters. 1,800. In the control room, Leutnant C. Werner Hartenstein's second watch officer, fresh from the U-boat school at Flensburg, grips the chart table. He's read the intelligence briefs, new Allied sonar, codenamed Hedgehog, but the briefs called it experimental, unreliable. The first explosion is not a depth charge, it's a cluster 24 mortar bombs arcing overhead, detonating in a perfect circle around the U-boat's last known position. The sea erupts in white columns. One bomb finds the pressure hull, just aft of the conning tower. Crump. The lights die. Emergency lanterns flare red. Men are hurled against bulkheads. A pipe bursts, spraying icy seawater across the diesels. Bruns roars over the chaos. Blow all tanks. Surface. Prepare to abandon. But the Hedgehog and done. A second salvo screams down. This time, 3 bombs detonate simultaneously along the starboard saddle tanks. The U-175 lurches, a dying beast. Fuel oil gushes into the sea, black blood in the moonlit water. On the bridge of USS Spencer, Coast Guard cutter turned Wolf killer. Lieutenant Commander Harold S. Burdine watches through binoculars. His ship is one of the first fitted with the British 10-centimeter radar and the deadly new mortar. No more guessing games. The screen shows the U-boat's exact position, even submerged. Target acquired, the sonarman calls. She's surfacing now. U-175 breaches like a breaching whale. Bow high, screws thrashing. German sailors spill onto the casing. Life jackets flapping. Machine gun fire from Spencer's deck stitches the water around them. Bruns stands on the conning tower, megaphone in hand, shouting the order to scuttle. Too late, a boarding party from Spencer, already roaring across in a whaleboat. 45's drawn. The first American boots hit the U-boat's deck while she's still settling. Mueller, the hydrophone man, is dragged out dripping, eyes wide at the impossible gadgetry on the destroyer-S bridge, a glowing green screen painting the ocean floor in real time. You tracked us, through thermic lines. He stammers in broken English. The American sonarman just grins. Welcome to 1943, Fritz. Below, in the control room, the Enigma machine is smashed, code books already burning in a bucket. But the real prize is intact, the U-boat's logbook, soaked but legible. It will reveal Wolf Pack rendezvous points for the next 6 weeks. As dawn stains the sky pink, U-175 rolls onto her side, air hissing from ruptured vents. Bruns is the last to leave, saluting the Reich's colors as they slide beneath the waves. 43 survivors bob in the swells, staring at the ship that ended their reign. And somewhere in the fleet, another U-boat captain picks up the fatal ping. May 4, 1943, 3:47 hours. The mid-Atlantic gap, that lawless stretch where land-based aircraft once dared not fly. U-209, commanded by Captain Lieutenant Heinrich Brada, goes so long at periscope depth, hunting the next convoy. The boat smells of unwashed bodies and fierce sweat now. The happy time is a fading memory. Brada peers through the attack scope. A lone freighter limps on the horizon, trailing smoke. Easy meet. Up periscope. Down periscope. Range 1,200 meters. Fire 1. The torpedo leaps from the bow tube. It runs hot, straight, and misses. The freighter zigzags violently, radio crackling with warnings. Brada curses. Convoys are learning. Then the sky opens, a roar like 1,000 trains. A Liberator bomber, B-24 from the U.S. Navy's VB-103 squadron, piloted by Lieutenant Howard Howie Briggs, drops out of the clouds at 200 feet. Its lee light, a 24 million candle power searchlight, stabs the sea. U-209 is bathed in blinding white. Alarm, crash dive, Brada screams, to slow. Depth charges tumble from the Liberator's bomb bay. 6 250-pounders set to detonate at 25 feet. The first explosion lifts the U-boat's stern clear of the water. The second ruptures the forward torpedo room. Seawater floods in, hissing against hot batteries. Chlorine gas blooms. In the control room, the plane's man fights the helm, but the boat is a wounded animal. Brada orders full speed astern, trying to crawl under the thermocline. The Liberator circles, radar locked, another stick of charges. Boom, the pressure hull buckles, rivets pop like gunfire, lights shatter. Men scream as the deck tilts 40 degrees. Brada claws his way to the conning tower, lungs burning from gas. He slams the hatch behind him, sealing the forward compartments. 20 men are already gone. On the surface, Briggs banks hard, watching the oil slick spread. Mark the spot, he radios. She's done. U-209 surfaces bow first, a broken toy. Brada and 17 survivors scramble onto the casing, hands raised. The Liberator buzzes overhead, waggling wings in victory. Back in Lorient, Admiral Dunnet stares at the lost board. Red pins now outnumber green. In March, 15 U-boats vanished. April, 16. May is only 4 days old and already 3 are gone. The wolf packs are being hunted by new predators, very long-range Liberators with 10 cm radar, centimetric wavelengths the Germans can't jam. Escort carriers like USS Bogue launch Grumman Avengers armed with phytoacoustic torpedoes, homing weapons that chase propeller noise. And the Hedgehog is everywhere now. No more random depth charge patterns. The mortar fire ahead of the escort, blanketing the U-boat's position with 24 contact fused bombs. One hit is enough. Dunnet convenes his staff. We are losing the technological race, he admits, voice hollow. The Amos have closed the gap. In the pens at Brest, crews whisper of Schwarzmai, Black May. The arithmetic is brutal. For every Allied ship sunk, 3 U-boats now die. The hunters have become the hunted, and the ocean is no longer theirs, but the worst is yet to come. May 24, 1943, 14:22 hours. U-569, Oberleutnant C. Hans Johansen commanding, limps on the surface 600 miles south of Greenland. 1 diesel is dead, batteries at 12%, and the radio mast is bent from a ramming by a British corvette 2 days prior. Johansen scans the empty horizon with cracked binoculars. No convoy, no rescue, just gray swells and the stench of diesel leaking from a cracked fuel line. Captain, aircraft bearing 180, low and fast, the lookout screams. For shapes resolve out of the cloud base, Wildcat fighters from the escort carrier USS Bogue, led by Lieutenant Commander William M. Drain. Their wings glitter with Havar rockets and 250-pound depth bombs. Johansen slams the alarm, flak guns, surface action. The 20mm and 37mm guns spit tracers into the sky. 1 Wildcat banks hard, trailing smoke. The pilot, Ensign Tex Thornton, pulls up and away. But the others press the attack. Rockets streak down. 1 punches through the conning tower fairwater, detonating inside the bridge. Shrapnel scythes through Johansen's legs. He collapses, blood pooling on the grating. Below, the chief engineer, Captain Lieutenant Ing, Fritz Kachel, fights to keep the boat afloat. We can't dive. Forward plane's jammed. Another rocket hits the aft deck. The torpedo storage rack erupts. U-569 heels violently, bow rising as the stern sinks. Abandoned ship. Kachel roars. Crewmen spill onto the casing. Life vests flapping. A Wildcat strafes the waterline, bullets stitching the hull. Kachel drags Johansen clear of the hatch, both men tumbling into the freezing sea. Aboard Bogue, Drain circles the dying U-boat. Fish in the water, he radios, An Avenger drops a Fido torpedo. The acoustic homing weapon circles once, then locks on U-569's thrashing screws. WHUMP. The U-boat splits amidships, fuel, oil, and debris fountain skyward. 46 men go down with her. Only Johansen and 6 others are hauled aboard Bogue, shivering under blankets, staring in disbelief at the carrier's flight deck, a floating airfield that should not exist in the middle of the Atlantic. In Berlin, Dönitz receives the tally for May. 41 U-boats lost. 41. Nearly a third of his operational fleet. The tonnage sunk, a paltry 58 merchant ships. The arithmetic is no longer sustainable. On May 24th, he issues the order every U-boat commander dreads. All Atlantic Wolf Pack operations are to cease immediately. Withdraw to the Biscay bases. The happy time is dead. The hunters are broken. But for the survivors, the nightmare is only beginning. June 12, 1943. 9:10 hours. The barbed wire compound of Camp Hearn, Texas. Captain Lieutenant Heinrich Bruns, once Lord of the Atlantic, now prisoner #TX-43-117, stands in the dusty yard with 4,000 other U-boat men. The sun beats down like a searchlight, but it's nothing compared to the stares of the American guards, young kids with M1 rifles who've never seen the ocean. Bruns squints at the mess hall menu chalked on a board: fried chicken, mashed potatoes, Coca-Cola. He almost laughs. 6 weeks ago he was sinking ships off Newfoundland. Now he's handed a tray and a paper cup fizzing with ice-cold sweetness. The first sip hits like a torpedo to the senses. Sugar, bubbles, a taste of a world he was told didn't exist. Across the table, Oberbootsman Klaus Muller, the hydrophone wizard from U-175, pokes at a scoop of vanilla ice cream. This is what they feed prisoners, he whispers in German. Back home, children queue for bread crusts. The Texans call it chow time, and it's served 3 times a day. Every day. No rations, no hunger. The camp loudspeaker crackles with Glenn Miller. American MPs stroll the perimeter in pressed uniforms, chewing gum, joking about baseball scores. Bruns watches a jeep roll past, its driver waving like they're on vacation. No bombed-out cities here. No rubble. Just endless fields of cotton and corn. Factories belching smoke 24 hours a day. Churning out ships, planes, tanks, faster than the Reich can sink them. In the barracks that night, the men gather around a smuggled newspaper. Headline: Liberty ships launched every 4 days. A grainy photo shows a welder named Joe O'Connell sparking steel in California. One of 18 shipyards building holes like sausages. Bruns does the math in his head. 18 yards times 90 ships a year equals more tonnage than the entire Kriegsmarine can hope to touch. Muller lowers the paper. They're not fighting with courage, he says, voice hollow. They're fighting with factories. Weeks turn to months. The prisoners are marched to work details, harvesting peaches, repairing roads, even painting murals in the camp chapel. One afternoon, Bruns is assigned to the motor pool. An American sergeant hands him a wrench and points to a Ford truck. Fix it, Kraut. You're good with machines, right? Bruns spends the day under the hood, grease to his elbows. The engine purrs back to life in 20 minutes. The sergeant whistles. Hell, we could use you in Detroit. That night, Bruns lies on his bunk, staring at the tin ceiling. He remembers the ping, the hedgehog, the Liberator's searchlight. He remembers the ice cream melting on his tongue. For the first time, the war feels small. Not a clash of empires, but a numbers game the Reich was never equipped to play. In Lorient, the pens stand empty. Grass grows between the concrete. Dönitz's staff drafts desperate plans. Snorkels, Type 21 electroboats, wonder weapons that will come to late. The Atlantic is a lidewater now. The wolf packs are gone. And in Texas, under a sky wide enough to swallow the Reich whole, Heinrich Bruns finished his Coca-Cola, crushed the cup, and for the first time in years, sleeps without dreaming of depth charges. The hunters are home. The ocean belongs to someone else.